Hi, everybody, and welcome again to another one of my impromptu talks. I just never know what it is I'm going to bring to you guys anymore, and with what's going on in the world and the Grand Awakening and the event, and those who are attuned to this, they know how crazy things are and how we're just getting so much, and we're just being inspired, and so some of these things I thought would be kind of cool to bring to you. I just had a very strange week, and it just led me to think about empaths, because I think my week has to do with being an empath. And for those of you who don't know what an empath is, there's a plethora of information on the internet. There's YouTubes. I mean, you can just Google what's an empath, and you can get all kinds of stuff. And not every empath is the same. Everybody has, different sensitivities, let's call that. An empath is what the mundane people, the mundane world calls HSP, highly sensitive person. And, or you're a weirdo. Yeah, I'm a wonderful weirdo. Have you heard that before? Empaths? So yeah, empaths are highly sensitive to the environment. It's an energetic thing. We are sensitive to all the frequencies around us, the lower, the higher frequencies. Like, let's say empath is talking to a person, and this person is sounding and talking very genuine, but that empath can feel the vibration of that person and see right through to that person and know that that person is not all telling the truth. Have you had that where you're just talking to someone and you're just like, what? I'm not getting that. I'm not getting what is the same as the words coming out of your mouth. Or you're with somebody and you just get this really down feeling, so that's part of being empathic. Or a lot of the healers, this was my issue when I first started healing. We tend to absorb everybody's issues. We absorb their energies, and we take on their feelings, and we take on their emotions, and we can even take on their pain. And that's what I used to do, is take on their pain, especially if I'm working with horses, So we empaths have to learn how to, keep that going through and not taking that on as their own. And that's really the hard part. And I'm sure a lot of you who are thinking you might be empathic are like, how do I know it's me? And how do I know it's not somebody else? Well, you're constantly checking in with yourself. You're constant, and I do this all the time. If I'm feeling really low, like I did this week, it's like, what is going on? Yeah, we're getting all these energies that are coming in and bombarding our physical body and changing our physical body. And for us to allow our physical body to change, there's things that we have to go through and process and release. And if we resist that, it causes a lot of pain. So, I'm going back and forth between that. Is it, ascension flu? Or is it, me picking up on somebody else's issues? Well, I soon realized that's exactly what it was. I was picking up on somebody else's issues. And an empath, now if you're talking to an empath and you're saying to them, I'll give you for instance, I'm here, renting this place, and it's like on a little farm, and my horse is here. The lady, she boards. She's got a couple horses that she boards, and my horse is here too. And so I'm very sensitive to my environment. I'm very sensitive to how she feels having someone else living in her, on her property. And so I'm constantly striving to do everything right and correct and keep Ciara's pasture clean. I pick up all of her poop, and I just make sure that, you know, she's behaving herself. And you know, so I'm highly sensitive to this woman that owns this property. Well, even though I know about this and I'm going overboard to try to keep the peace, you know, she comes up to me and says things like, "Oh, the latch on the gate, you know, how come you don't put it as far as you can? You're only latching it on one link. You can push that gate really hard and you know, latch it on the second link." And you know, I'm just like, I don't understand what the difference is. The gate's latched, you know, it's the gate to my horse's stall. Well, you know, she's gonna wreck my stall. And I'm thinking, no, that's not the case. There's something else here going on. I mean, she may be telling me this with a smile on her face, but empaths see right through that. And I'm thinking, as I'm nodding, yes, okay, I'll do that. I'm thinking, wow, this poor person, she is miserable. She is miserable and unhappy, and she just wants everybody around her to feel the same way. She lives by herself. Her son's here I mean, he doesn't even live in the house with her. He lives in the camper. So, you know, so I think a lot of that, and this wasn't the first episode with her. I've been here 2 months, and this has been ongoing. And so this week, I think it just finally hit me. And I mean, I was down and out. I mean, severe headaches, and I get headaches anyways because of my scoliosis, but this was not neck pain, back pain, scoliosis. This was headache, like tension and stress headache and nausea and not able to eat. So I was like, okay, I know what this is. And so what do I do about it? You know, what do empaths do about this? First off, to pinpoint it is really hard. Like I said, how do you discern if it's yours or somebody else's? Well, because I work on myself daily and, you know, put up my protections and, you know, meditate and you know, I love to listen to the binaural beat music, especially monk chanting. If you've ever listened to 528 hertz binaural beat to monk chanting, oh my gosh, it's like brings you right there, you know. So 40 minutes to an hour of that every day. And so you when you have a lifestyle or a ritual like this, you know, I'm working on myself, I'm doing what I need to do to keep all this at bay, and even verbalizing, saying, you know, I know that this emotion and depression and sadness and anger, I know this is not me. So I need to push that away. I need to funnel that out. So I don't want that to come through. That is not what an empath really needs to deal with on a daily basis. Now, you know, realizing that and verbalizing that and not just thinking that has really helped. And meditating and really meditating and releasing her anger and just, you know, saying, okay, you know, release that into Gaia and let Gaia transmute that and turn it into positive, something good. You know, that really, really helped a lot. And so today I just wanted to bring that up to you, and I thought it would be really a fun talk, you know, because there's so many of us walking around like this that haven't even a clue. And, you know, a lot of us who don't realize this, we walk around with, you know, bipolar disorders, manic depressive disorders. You know, there was a period in time where I was crazy. I even thought I was crazy because I would be really sweet in my heart. I'm naturally a compassionate person, and you know, and people who really truly know who I am, they always tell me that I'm so giving and so compassionate. And so when I pick up on somebody who is not like that, or I pick up on their stress, it just drives me crazy. And it makes me crazy. And then I want to just turn away from society. I don't want anything to do with society. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be in a mall. You know, oh my gosh, empaths in a mall. Oh, yeah. We don't like malls. You know, movie theaters. Oh, somebody sitting behind us chewing and breathing hard. And I mean, all of that is just magnified, and it drives us crazy. But, you know, it's not all bad. It's just a matter of realizing what it is and finding a way of, you know, of dealing with it. And it's something, it's part of us and who we are, so we have to deal with it on a daily basis. I mean, you know, empaths, you know, you couldn't sit in a movie theater and watch all the Halloween movies, you know, with all the killing and the stabbing, and people are cheering and laughing, and, you know, empaths are like, ooh, because we actually can feel that. We can feel what it's like. It's right down to our food. I mean, that's another thing. Our food. You know, sometimes I try to eat as organic as I can, and I'm, you know, 90% vegetarian. I do eat chicken. You know, I listen to my body. Sometimes I need that extra protein, so I will. And if it's not if that chicken was not processed in a very humane, yeah, I know, in any animal slaughter, how can it be humane? But I've noticed that some brands of chicken are different than others, and some will just literally make me so sick. And you think, oh, I just had some bad chicken. Ooh, you know, must have been old, or maybe had bacteria. Well, that's not totally it, folks. It has to do with the energies that you're taking into your body. The Chinese, they know all about it. I mean, that's why they want to, you know, take in the elk horns and you know, the rhinoceros horns and all that, because they know they are taking on the energies of that. And it's just like Premarin, the women who are taking HRTs, you know, for hormone issues. I see it on TV again. It drives me nuts. Premarin is nothing but pregnant mare urine. And if you would go to these farms and see how these horses are treated, they stand in a stall like a cow stanchion. They stand in a stall with a bag connected to them. They are pregnant, yes, and they wait till they're pregnant and they collect this urine, because there's something about this urine that helps women with hormonal issues. And so this latest commercial that I keep seeing on TV for, you know, vaginal issues, vaginal dryness, you know, oh, I'm in menopause, and, you know, it's take Premarin. Well, really, how is that going to help you when it causes the distress and sadness of another being, and you are going to apply that topically? Especially in that area where it's going to be absorbed right away. Even if you ingest it, it's no wonder it causes cancer. It should cause cancer. We shouldn't be using that. We shouldn't be, there's plenty of other ways to help you out with that. And I could talk on that subject forever and ever and ever. But so back to food. So empaths really have to be careful of the food that they take in, because we will pick up on those energies, you know, the energies that are absorbed into that meat when they are being slaughtered. Sorry, nothing here comes here to be slaughtered. I mean, that goes back to what I wanted to say about empaths. Let's see, have I given you enough about what an empath is? I think you've kind of got an idea. You know, we can pick up on everybody's energies. We can pick up on their emotions. We can pick up on what's going on in our world. If there's an earthquake or 9/11, we felt that sadness. We felt that energy. We felt that, you know, and a lot of us took that in and didn't have no clue what that was. So it's a taking in and a feeling of everything in your environment, all around you and in you and under you. So why, and I wanted to say that the title of this talk, can you tell I'm pretty passionate about it? Calm down, Denice, calm down now. Here, calm down, my Amber. Okay, so I wanted to say about empaths. Who are we, and who were we, and why we all need to be one? Okay, I said, who are we? I already opened up with that. But who were we? Well, that's kind of strange. Who we were is who we always were. Humanity started out with empathy. Humanity started out as empathics. We all felt this. And this was part of the original plan for Earth and humanity on Earth. And this was all part of why Gaia chose humanity to share this evolution with her. And the very beginning, the beings, the humanity, the beings who were here on Gaia were highly spiritual beings, and of course they were empathic, and they had to be. They all were here because their heart chakras, they were here, and they were empathic, and they were higher spiritual beings. And so along with that meant their heart chakra was open. Now, when your heart chakra is open and you are ascended into a higher vibration, you normally feel everything around you, and you just want to show, you want everybody to feel the compassion and the love that you are feeling. So if your heart chakra is open and you're feeling the love and compassion, and you want everybody else to feel that way, then the whole of society was supposed to be that way. Is it that way today? No. Like that commercial? No, not so much. And why is that? Why is it that there's some of us walking around today, empaths, and there's so many walking around that are just shut, they're censored? And that's the magic word. There was a point in time where humanity was shut down. All of our abilities, all of our heart opening, everything was shut down. And why was it shut down? Because in order to control humanity and have humanity do what it was supposed to do to serve others that were not supposed to be here, they had to shut humanity down in order to control them, in order to justify their agendas. War for one. If everybody on this planet was the way it was supposed to be, and we all lived as empaths, and we all felt the emotions of others, and we knew we did not like to feel depression and sadness and horror and sorrow and all of that, and we knew all we wanted was to feel love and gratitude and happiness and harmony, do you think that our planet would be such a warmongering planet it is today? No, it wouldn't, would it be? And this, the empaths that I'm talking to, the light just went on, didn't it? Yep. So there you go again. It's someone else's agenda coming here to change the original plan in order to serve their agenda. Matrix, does that ring a bell, anybody? Illuminati, Cabal, controllers, elite, they all had the power to shut us down. And we are so naive to this fact. And they are the ones that made us so naive. That was their grand scheme. So, this is why all of us need to be empathic. This is why we all need, and why is some of us here? Why did some of us choose to come here? To remind those who are sleeping, to remind those who have been censored, to remind those who have been shut down of what they have inside of them. You know, and we look at TV today. Oh, everybody loves all these superhero shows and anything where anybody has a special ability. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, wow, wow. Well, that's how it used to be. We can regain that. But because we are so naive to that and we've been so programmed that, oh, only in the movies or only in books, I mean, it's just make-believe. It's just fiction. Dragon Horse is just fiction. We just read about it and we would just watch it and then wish we had that. When we could gain that back. So, you know, I think people, and I think with the new energies that are coming in and the alignment of the planets and, you know, all the astrology and you know, there's so much on the internet about that. If you don't know anything about that, you really have a lot of catching up to do. You know, so what I'm saying here is nothing new. But I'm saying that with the energies coming in, there are people now, and a lot of it is osmosis through, you know, through living with or being with people who already like this. You know, it's kind of like the light is being turned on. So I think, you know, with the energies that are coming in, you know, it's since 2012, more and more people are awakening to who they once were. And along with that is coming empathy. And, you know, and it was really, it's so interesting because, you know, I like to listen to what other people have to say about what's going on in our world. So you know, a lot of people like me are getting together. A lot of people are going on and, you know, bringing videos to you singularly or in groups. And I was listening to a group today. It's called the Leak Project. And if you can find them on YouTube, they're pretty interesting. And there was a group of them, and one of the guys talking on today's program was a martial arts fighter, and he just realized he had a heart opening, and when his heart opened, empathy came in. And he just lost that drive to be this kick-your-ass martial artist. And I know a lot of it is an energetic thing. But for him, the daily grind of going and kicking somebody's ass so he can, you know, that just wasn't important to him anymore. And and so this is happening all over. This is, and so much more now than ever. And it is so exciting. So it's like, it's time for the empaths to reawaken. And, you know, when you do start to reawaken, it's a new learning curve. You know, like I said, we've been programmed, we've been shut down, and everybody has these walls, and, you know, nobody cares about anybody, you know, everybody just cares about themselves. Well, that's exactly what they want. They want separation, duality. Oh, you only worry about yourself. Don't worry about that person. Yes, there's always going to be people out there who, no matter what happens, still chooses to not evolve and still says, no, I don't want this. And so that's where discernment comes in. And, you know, empaths are so compassionate, and this was my big deal, you know, I want to teach everybody and I want to help everybody. Well, you know, for a long time I thought I could do it and I thought I was doing it, and that is so wrong. We're just supposed to show people, show them the way and let them do their own healing. And my husband used to get mad at me. He's like, oh, you bring all these misfits home and all I do is shit on you. And it's like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to help these people. This is what I came here for. And that was back in my crazy years when I was saying how it's crazy. Well, we're not supposed to do that. We're just supposed to show them. We're not supposed to actually do the work for them. No. So empaths, that's another thing that we have to learn. We have to learn. We have to learn to discern. And we tend to have very poor boundaries. We tend to be so open and so agreeable, and we just want to think that everybody's special and everybody deserves my 100% attention, and nobody's going to do anything wrong in return because everybody's good. And so that's really not always the case. And so soon we do learn, you know, and usually it's the first inclination when dealing with someone. It's like, nope, you know, and so we learn that. And if we don't learn how to do that, all it does is exhaust us. All it does is depress us, and causes us a lot of anxiety. And it's sad because, you know, we are so compassionate. And I think compassion was probably the first lesson I learned. You know, I knew the word, I knew what it meant, but actually ingraining it into my being, and I mean, when it dawned on me, compassion, oh my gosh, more people need to do this. More people need to be this. And, you know, that's what I learned from Lucky. You know, for those of you who read the Dragon Horse books, you know, Cheyenne meets this horse and she just learns this horse is just dying, and she just learns through compassion and love, you know, how magical it is. And so, yes, empaths, we're just givers and compassionate, and we're also very good mediators. Have you noticed that? You know, I remember when I was in high school, yeah, I was bullied, but I really got good at diverting the bullies. You know, I got good at turning it around, not through means of being mean or anything, you know, but it was just something that I learned to do. And after a while, the bullies stopped singling me out. But after that, through that, we learned to be great mediators. And if there's issues with friends, you know, we're just so good at getting in the middle of it and saying, hey, you know, what's up with you, and what's up with you, and how does this make you feel? Why is this making you feeling? And maybe you need to do this, because we see through all of this. We see through to the truth. So we're kind of like psychologists. You know, when I was in high school, I was the one that everybody had to come and tell their stories, their woes, and you know, I was the one that they had to unload on all the time. And I would listen, but sometimes it got to be very hard, because then I couldn't figure out why. Every day after school, I would go home on the bus, which was an 1.5 to 2 hour ride by the time I got home, with a massive migraine. Every day I would go home with a massive migraine. I just a horrible migraine sufferer, and I am to this day. And that's because I was listening and I was taking in all of their emotions. I was absorbing their energies, be they good or be they depressive, sad, angry. I just didn't know enough back then. You know, so there's just so much about being empathic, and I think the greatest thing that we can do to help ourselves is, first off, you know, learning that, oh, this is what we are, and realizing, oh, I'm not going crazy. Oh, I really am not manic depressive. Oh, I'm really not bipolar. I just see multidimensionally, which we do. I hear, smell, taste, feel 1,000 times more than anybody else. And so once you realize that, then you start living your life differently. And it starts with meditation, you know, meditating in nature and being one with nature. Just putting your feet down on the ground, taking your shoes off, and feeling the earth, and connecting to Gaia is really, really helpful. And there's a lot of people, you know, I'm a horsewoman. You can tell by the books that I write. A lot of people say, you know, my horse, without my horse, I would have checked out a long time ago. And I agree with them 100%. And I always tell everybody that, yeah, my horse she's a dyslexic empathic, and she sees multidimensionally, and she feels, sees, hears, absorbs 1,000 times more than me. I mean, when I'm standing with her, or even before I'm next to her, she can feel my energy and she can hear my heartbeat. So she knows what kind of day I'm having before I even get close to her. So connecting with nature and realizing what they go through, and what they can feel and why. I mean, it's survival mode for them. You know, oh, I have to brace myself. Here he comes. He's got that 100-pound saddle, and he's going to slap it on my back, and he's going to make me run around them barrels for an hour. Oh, I got to get ready for that. Okay, get ready. And, you know, and I have to be as accommodating as I can, because if I'm not, he's just going to beat on me. And, you know, this is me saying this. The horses are probably, all they know is that what's coming, and they're really not sure why, you know, and the horse is trying desperately to show its handler a different way, you know. And I think that's what empaths are doing, the person. We're desperately trying to show humanity a different way, you know. And if we all would allow our hearts to open, and if we all were empathic, we wouldn't have a need for war. Why? Because if everybody on one country had their heart opening, and they were compassionate and loving, and everybody on another country was the same way, and they came together, they could not comprehend killing another person. They could not comprehend causing another being pain and anguish and despair and loss. And that's what we have to remember. You know, we get all caught up into patriotism and I'm this and I'm that, and we are so much more than that. We are so much more than just an American. And that's what we have to wake up to. And so that's why we need to spend more time with ourselves, listening to ourselves, and eating humanely, and doing things that raise us up, being with people who are like us, and listening to music that lifts us up. Now remember, there's music that, you know, has a beat, a frequency that causes us to want to destroy and be destructive and party on. You know, yeah, there's ways to party, but without being destructive. And, you know, so find the music, you know, 528 hertz. There's plenty of music, 528 hertz. You know, listen to that music. Yoga, exercise a little bit. We don't have to bodybuild or anything. You know, it's another thing. It's, you know, the balance, tipping the scale to one side. You know, we don't want to overdo it. But for me, and many empaths like me went into the field of healing. You know, most people go into a healing modality because they think they want to heal humanity. Yeah, that's partly true, but basically to heal themselves first. And so if you're empathic and you're living here with the atrocities that you do on a daily basis, and you're walking down the street and being bumped into people that are, you know, running on 3 cylinders, that their heart chakra is closed, and that empath is absorbing that energy. I mean, how, you know, you have to find a way to overcome that. And so these are some of the ways. And, you know, you really do need to find your me time. And, you know, for my husband, even though he still hunts, which I'm hoping he will give up soon, you know, him going in the woods and just hiking in the woods and looking to see where the deer and the elk are, that's his me time. And I let him do that because I know he's in nature. And I know Gaia in her own way is working with him and working on him. And there will come to be a point in time where he will just say, you know what? I'd rather just go there and be in the woods and listen and look and take pictures instead of, you know, taking a life. And, you know, for me as an empath, I had to go and help him bring one of his kills out of the woods. And it is one of the most horrific things that you can do. In the smell, we smell the smells 10 times, you know, 1,000 times more. We feel the feelings 1,000 times more. We feel the ecosystem around and how it feels by the taking of that single animal. And the smell was so nauseating, and I could do all I could to not vomit, and the feeling, and I had to touch that poor deer, and you know, it was not a good day for me. And, you know, my husband still not being an empath, for him it was like every day, you know, this is what we do. But for us, it's the worst thing that, you know, you could possibly have to deal with. And so, you know, yeah, on the way out, I had to do a lot of thinking and realize I had to let that feeling go and let those feelings go through me, and, you know, go back to Gaia, and, you know, just know deep inside that we are working towards the betterment of humanity, and empaths are here, and that's what our job is. And we can't give up on these people. Yeah, many of them will choose yet to not ascend or not evolve or not to grow or not become aware or not awaken. And those people will eventually, they will just fall away from our lives, you know. And as we get closer and closer to the world that we are creating, we will see less and less and less of that. And we will stay in the world that we can handle and we can stomach and we can smell, and we can open our hearts to. So I hope that helps some of you empaths out there. You know, it's not a special ability. It's what was always there. And it's very hard. It's very difficult. Sometimes I wish I didn't have it. But if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, it's kind of like if you don't have the depression, you don't know what joy feels like. But we don't have to keep going back there. So for all you empaths out there, you know, it's getting better, And if you just follow along with some of the things that I said today, and feel free to, contact me, maybe we'll have, if enough people want, maybe we'll have a group discussion and we can talk and help each other. And, empaths and dyslexics, they're right there in the same realm as the indigos and the crystals. And, it's just all different terms. So we all have our triumphs to share, and we all have our sorrows, and we all have our story. And I think that's the healing part, is if we can all find someone to share our story and share our feelings with, someone who is on the same path that they are. So, it's so freeing and it is so healing. So feel free to share. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up to you, and I do hope it helped, because these things really helped me a lot. Like I said, right down to the foods I eat, and sugar and alcohol, and how all that affects me, and not actually listening. We need to listen. We just go, oh, I feel crappy today. And that's our body saying, hey, hello, what you're doing to me. And we're just so programmed to go, oh, that's just part of life. I'll go to the doctor and he'll give me a pill that'll probably have more side effects than the bad food that I just ingested. It's all about awareness and awakening. And, being empathic is half of the battle. The rest of it is how to deal with it, and how to learn from it, and how to grow from it. So that's all I got to say about that today, guys. And thank you very much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.